So, Brandon, I just want to know from you. I'm going to read you some specs of the supposed R1X. And I want to know if you think this is a real possibility, even a possible thing.
Okay.
All right. So, the real flagship will be a high resolution monster, meaning 80 megapixels. Okay.
Okay.
Second is quad pixel autofocus. Right now, Canon updated the intelligent dual pixel autofocus where they do horizontal lines and vertical lines, but this is quad pixels. So this would be a massive jump in their autofocus. Internal NDs.
Wait.
Internal NDs.
Okay, sorry. Let me let you go.
A DGO sensor. Okay.
What
So
is
like
that?
the C70
Okay.
and the C300 Mark II.
Okay.
Or Mark III. 18 plus stops of dynamic range. A global shutter. And even more intelligent AI than they currently have in the R1 in the R5 Mark II.
Okay, so I feel like this list is not a rumor list. I feel like this is more a wish list from someone who felt royally let down by the R1.
These rumors, this rumored spec, were rumors like from over a year ago, not in release to.
Okay.
They didn't know that it was the R1X. They thought this would be the flagship of the R1. And so then another piece to add into this isn't the first time Canon has done different flavors of their cameras. So if you remember back in the day, they had the 5 series. And then they would do their higher resolution, like they'd go up to 50 megapixels.
That was the 5DS.
5DS. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
And then if you also remember on the 1D series,
Right.
they had the 1DX,
Right.
and then the 1DC
Yes.
for cinema. So it wouldn't be completely out of hand. Some of these specs sound out of hand.
I feel like they're still reaching.
Yeah.
I'll let you cook. Go ahead.
Yeah, no. So I'm not saying all of these specs are potentially true. And I'm not even saying in 2025, because if this came out, this feels like a $15,000 to $20,000 camera, which it might not kill the R1 sales. But if this thing was, I don't want to put a price on it. But you can see Canon releasing flavors of the R1. Like I personally would want, we've talked about it here on the show, I would want a 1RC.
Yes. Yeah. So I think when it comes to this rumor specifically, I think there is some validity to the idea that, there could be a Canon R1X that will show up at some point. But dude, the specs that you just read off, I mean, if I pull those back up really quick for like, so people can see what you were saying. So read them off one more time for everyone who's just joining. Just read them off quick. Cause I just to give us a quick idea of like what these are.
80 megapixels.
Wow. Okay. Keep going.
Quad pixel autofocus.
Boom.
Internal NDs. On a mirrorless body. Auto DGO sensor. 18 stops of dynamic range. That's probably the most unbelievable.
That's the most unbelievable?
Well, not Canon, but 100 megapixel cameras aren't crazy.
Yeah.
So that's not crazy.
Okay.
Who knows what quad pixel autofocus means?
Yeah.
Like, what does that even mean?
Yeah, I feel like, when I finish this off, 18 stops of dynamic range, global shutter, updated AI, it just feels like a fever dream.
Unicorn, yes.
Yeah, like someone's like, oh, who's your source? And it was a guy I met in my dream, but he told me he was in my dream from Canon. He couldn't meet me in person, but he gave me all these specs, so I know it's real.
But which one sounds more like a flagship? The R1 or the R1X?
This glorified whatever whoozy whatty of a camera that you just made up, that I will say that's more.
That sounds like a flagship.
You know what? Here's the funny part about this. Because this is a rumor, let's say this camera does exist and let's say Canon releases it next year, I guarantee you Canon fan people will find something wrong with it and be like, this is the flagship, but really our next flagship is going to totally take over.
So I don't think that these are the real specs. I don't even know if a R1X is going to happen, but I will say this, something closer to this is, I think, what people are hoping for in a flagship from Canon that they've waited 5 years for. So maybe not 80,
yeah,
but 45. What do you think it would need to be between the 24 and the 80? Where do you feel like they need to land, knowing that the R5 is a 45 megapixel?
I think that people would like probably. I mean, honestly, I think if you just put a 45 megapixel in a R1 style camera, and you just so that way you have the best of both worlds. You have a low megapixel version, you have a high megapixel version. I am one of those.
I'm gonna
people,
go 50.
I mean, 50 is gonna sound great on marketing.
It needs to be better than the R5.
Okay, so you just literally just want to jump up just so you can just say you're better,
just a little bit,
just enough.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I'm here for it. I get it.
I don't want to rehouse R5.
I don't want to rehouse. Okay, yeah, that makes sense because they definitely would just put the same sensor in. That's exactly what they would do.
And, bro, it's got to be less than 10,000.
Yeah.
It has to be. It could be 9,999.
Yeah.
But if it is $1 more, that's going to be a hard buy.
Yeah. No, I think even at 9,999, it's going to be a hard buy for most.
Yes.
But I think realistically they could come in at like 7,999 because what's the R1? 60,
it's 64.
64?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think you come in like just under 8, you'll be good.
We're going to double everything about this camera and we're only going to charge $1,000 more.
$1,500 more. All right. Let's see what they're saying in the chat.
So
go ahead.
Up or down? What do you guys think?
What are you guys thinking? Are we going to see a Canon R1X? Let us know.
This is silly.
This is ridiculous. This is absolutely insane. Let's go to the chat real quick. It says, this is silly. People have been dreaming about these specs for so long. Yes, I absolutely love it. Let's go to the next one. He says, I can see a global shutter is possible. At least that. You know what? Didn't they just have, we reported on this a few months ago, or about 2 months ago, that Canon did actually file a patent for their first global shutter. So,
absolutely. And you doubted me.
You're right.
You doubted me.
You're right.
Because it was for an industrial camera.
But if
you were like, things don't ever trickle down.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe.
Hey, this is it. The R1X is coming. You heard it here first. Global shutter. Canon's going to call me after this live stream and be like, how did you know? How did you know we had 80 megapixels ready to rock and roll? Oh, my goodness. Here it goes. A camera like that will come out, but Sony will be the one to produce it.
Not going to lie. With Canon being behind the Z9 and the Alpha 1, I'm a little bit worried that the A12, what are they bringing to the table?
Yeah, I love this one. He says the readout speed is going to be 3 to 5 business days.